What's up, guys? It's your host here, Spartanic Arts DxD, back with another high school DxD related video. And today we have What If Issei Went Rogue, Part 7. Thank you so much for the support on this series, and let's try to hit 500 to 600 likes for this video. That'd be absolutely amazing. Seriously, that would be totally hit the like button. I know you're in the premiere right now, so hit that like button, please. And if you guys want to know when I upload / my upload schedule, click the little blue button right next to the subscribe button, or click the first link down in the description below, or if you're in the premiere, it'll be linked on the top in the pinned comment. So thank you guys so much for the support once again, man. I do have a couple plans going on forward. I might want to do a series called What If Issei Was Emotionless, or What If Issei Was Evil. You know, what if things like that, just cool stuff like that. What if Goku was in high school DxD is coming once again. I just thought I'd let you guys know. I'm in the process of doing things. I just don't know what to do yet. I just have a bunch of ideas though, cranking. So yeah, thank you so much for the support, guys. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and thank my balance breakers. Grab the King, Lachlan Yates, Jordan Patchow, Ant Lewis, Night Ammo, Refeek135, Asimota, Slow, The Black Dragon Emperor, Keep Saying 21, Louis Bermudez, $5 Sake, VR hashtag Dude347, Night Ammo, Ziki2000, Seth Voiles, The PS Gamer, XRX108, Sinwar Q, Legendary Saiyan 98, Mazaku, Dr_MOG_ is the bomb, Grimfire Shot Gamer, That Round Guy, Zero Fusion, Source Bonder, Chaotic Raven, The J-Boys, and Ryuga. Thank you so much for becoming a balance breaker. Seriously, I can't thank you enough, and thank you to all my limit breakers, all strand stakes, and once again, my balance breakers. Now, without any further intrusion, let's go ahead and get it. Chapter 21. Issei finally agrees to her invitation. Now, at Wiz's place, they arrived at her place, which is basically a magic shop item store, even though it's kind of cramped, but Issei doesn't mind it because he's not that rich even in his original world. Even though he has all the stock share of his Opie Dragon show, but he will not think of that of his own money. He does not want the shows for the kids, not for the money. Please take a seat here and just wait a second. I will make you some tea, Wiz said. Then she started to get to her kitchen to make some tea for Issei. Meanwhile, Issei observes her store. She got all kinds of items, which he recognizes. There are some familiar items here, and they're from his own world, but it's a shape and it's not really the same. So he got up from his seat and headed towards the cursed items to erase the curse. It's quite easy to do, since cursed items usually possess some evil souls. So he just inputs his aura a little bit into the items to erase the evil soul, then it's purified. Wiz, who saw him able to become stupefied because she never thought he's able to purify the curse. Issei-san, are you a priest by any chance? No, Issei says, but you're able to purify the curse on that item just now. It's just one of my special abilities. Wiz doesn't investigate anymore after that because she's not the kind to pry into people's secrets. Even she has some secrets on her own. Then here's your tea. Sorry for the wait, Wiz says. When she served the tea on the table and Issei head back to the table, Wiz knows that the tea is cold because she can't serve hot beverages nor food because she's undead and her magic skills consist of a type. I'm sorry that the tea is not hot. I don't mind, Issei says. I see. Then the silence ensues once more. After a while, Wiz finally starts talking once more. You must be wondering why I invited you here, Wiz says. Issei put down the tea and looked calmly at her. Wiz took that as a signal for her to continue her words. You see, actually, I'm an undead, to be precise. She tries to see if any reaction towards as she knew she's undead, but he still has that calm look on his face even after hearing her secret. Don't you feel afraid, Issei-san, knowing that I'm undead? She couldn't help but ask him that question because people usually always hate her for what she is. And even though she looks like she doesn't mind it, but deep inside she felt hurt because of it. She didn't choose to be Lich on her own. She's forced to become one after her fight with Vanrir. She has to make a contract with Vanrir to save her friends who got captured by the Demon Lord General, but because she can't defeat him, she has to choose to become a Lich herself. If not, then her friends would die. So even though she isn't regretting turning herself into a Lich just to save her friends, she still feels hurt that everyone else condemns her for what she is. Why should I? Issei says. Wiz replies. Wiz becomes stupefied after hearing his immediate answer. Why should I be afraid of you because you're an undead? Issei said. But usually people detest undead, don't they? I won't detest someone because of what they are. You cannot change what you are, only what you do. If you're an evil undead, sure, then I might detest you. But from what I've seen at the cemetery, you're not evil, aren't you? Issei says. Wiz can only blankly nod at this question. Then why should I detest you because of what you are? Is it better to be hated for what you are than to be loved by something for you are not? I won't change myself for someone just to be loved by them, because that would be false love, don't you think so? Issei said. Once again, Wiz can only blankly nod at his statement because she got nothing to say in return. She has tears streaming down her face without realizing it, because that's the word she wants to hear after all this time. For her to not be judged by what she is, but of who she is. She's a proud adventurer Wiz, the Ice Witch, not some unknown dead lich. When she's still alive, she has a big pride for who she is. But after some time passed, she started forgetting it, and that makes her afraid of losing her true identity. People calling her evil undead even though she's not. She always protects them even till now. She made a deal with the Demon Lord to keep the barrier on their castle and become one of his generals. The deal is for the Demon Lord to release her friends Brad and Rosary, and also for the Demon Lord army to never involve innocent non-combatant civilians in their attacks on humans. She can get if the adventurer dies because of the risk involved, but she won't allow any innocent bystander to get involved. So, her deal with the Demon Lord, she will maintain the barrier on his castle, and she also won't attack the demons as long as they don't break their deal. But she knows on her behind the Demon Lord still kept her bounty while she's still human. And because he doesn't want to lose his own army, he spreads the word that she's an evil undead and she's also one of the Demon Lord generals. That's why she has to move from her old country. Then after some negotiation with the kingdom of Belzerg, she's finally allowed to stay in their country, but she's not allowed to leave Axel City on her own. And that's how she finally opened her store and make Axel City as her new home. At long last, she finally found a person who truly understands her feelings. I'm sorry for my pathetic display. It's just that it's the first time somebody has truly understand me, Wiz says. Issei pulls his hood down as he extends his hand to wipe the tears off her face. Nonsense. There's nothing pathetic from being who you are. You are you. Now, isn't that pleasant? Issei said. He gave her the gentlest smile he has, and he kept brushing away her tears from her face with the utmost gentleness and care. Wiz, who saw his face, feels the gentleness he gives and stared, bawling even harder as she jumped towards his chest and gives him the tightest hug she could muster. And then she starts crying. Issei just calmly hugs her back and rubs her back gently. After a while, she finally stopped crying after realizing what she did. Her whole face becomes totally red, and she couldn't be even more embarrassed after what she did. She started bawling like a child in front of the man she just met, and she's clearly older one here. She just finds a hole to bury herself into for now. She's so embarrassed that she might die from this shame alone, but she also doesn't want to leave his warm embrace. She also feels conflicted whether to let go or not. After coming into a close contact with his body, she could clearly feel that his soothing feeling she felt around him, and she couldn't help but feeling intoxicated by it. She just wants to stay like this forever, but she knew that she can't stay like that forever. So embarrassing to think, crying from the man I just met, but his embrace is so warm and his face is really handsome. Get a hang of yourself, Wiz. You're an older one here. You might want to he might not see you the way you see him. She tried to talk herself down. Are you feeling fine now? Issei said. Wiz snapped out of her thoughts after hearing this question, so she answers with a low voice while still looking down with a red face. I see. Do you want to go get back at the van rear of the Demon Lord himself? I could kill him if you want me to, Issei said. After hearing her story, he felt really sorry for her. She really looks just like him. Never hesitate to protect her friends and even sacrificed her life to achieve it. Wiz got totally surprised by his question, so she jerked back and looked at him in the face, but all she sees is some calmness and gentleness like he has before, like he can easily do what he just said without effort. But he's really strong, and Vanry can't be killed in normal ways because his physical body is at hell, Wiz says. Issei just chuckles a bit at her statement, then gives her a reassuring look once more, even more conviction this time. There's nothing I can't kill in this world, Issei says. His eyes are glowing a bit, and it's overflowing with confidence. And that is totally a lady killer move coupled with his handsome face, so Wiz got in a trance once more after seeing his confident face. Well, Issei said. Then she finally snaps out of it and started thinking about it. No, Wiz says. Oh, may I know why? Issei says. Because it might break the equilibrium. If humans lose their common enemy, then they will start having a conflict with each other, and at some point they will wage war against each other, so there's no reason to kill the Demon Lord at this time. Wiz at first attempted to kill them, but she realized something. Issei at first just went silent, then he suddenly pats Wiz's head. Issei-san? Her face went beet red after getting petted by him. That's the right answer, Wiz, Issei said. Wiz couldn't help become stupefied after hearing that, but Issei continues once more. I kill the demon lord, then like you said before, the humans will lose their common enemies and they will start having conflict with each other. And because of that, it will be greed. They will start competing with each other to have the demon lord territories all for themselves. And the ones who will truly suffer are the innocent civilians and bystanders, Issei said. Wiz totally agrees with his opinion, and that's why she also rejected his proposal. And she becomes amazed once more, to think that far ahead, even though he's still young. So, how about Vanrir? Do you want me to kill him? Issei said. Issei asked her once more. Wiz just declines once again, and her reasoning is, no need, even though he's a devil, but he never took a human's life, and in some ways I'm indebted to him because he showed me how to get the power I need to save my friends, and besides, the reason why I keep fighting him is just because of my pride. He only tricked me and my friends once, but my pride can't take the blow of being tricked like that, so I keep coming back at his place to repay back for the humiliation I received. If I don't let my pride get in the way, then my friends would never have got caught in the demon general Boletta in the first place, so it's my own fault for what happened, and you could say I reap what I sow there. Isn't stupid, isn't it? She rubbed the back of her head while acting bashful. Beautiful, Issei said. Wiz becomes stupefied after hearing his word, and she realizes what he said. Her face went full beet red once more. Oh, it did, but Wiz just says, her eyes spinning from utter confusion and happiness she felt. It's beautiful how you can clearly admit your past just like that. You never blamed anyone for what happened and you fully accept yourself, even your past and the present you, Issei says. Issei admires her for accepting her past and present life, just like him who accepts his past and present, but he has some help from others, while the woman in front of her come to fully accept it all on her own, without anyone assisting her. He admits he won't able to do what she did without receiving any help, and he really admires her because of that. He couldn't help but extend his hand to her face and gently stroke it. Wiz at her limit here, her face can't be redder than it is now. She started having smoking come out of her head, and she started hallucinating that an angel is here to guide her to the afterlife. Issei-san. Then at this moment, the door of the wish shop burst open a loud bam. The one who did it is Jeanne. She's looking out at this moment, so they can't see her face clearly, but her body is trembling a little. Issei snapped out of his trance, and Wiz, although still has a red face, also turned to look at the door shop. Issei and Wiz position at this moment is kinda inappropriate. Issei is sitting at the chair while Wiz is on his lap. One of Issei's hand is on Wiz's waist, while his other hand is cupping her face like they secretly have a lovey-dovey moment and wanted to kiss each other. It was at this moment that Issei knew he fucked up. And that is the end of chapter 21. Chapter 22. Jeanne was wondering where Issei went, so she searched for him. After some searching, she still can't find him. Then she saw him inside Wiz's store from the window, but she got shocked by what she saw. Her idol Issei-san is hugging Wiz, and their position is quite intimate. Wiz is sitting on his lap hugging him, and he's also hugging her while stroking her back. Just when she was about to go inside the store, she heard their conversation, so she unintentionally heard the content of their talk. She becomes shocked about the past of Wiz, and she feels sad for her, but when she used Issei-san's proposal of killing the Demon Lord and Vanrir just for Wiz, she becomes shocked but also quite jealous because he's willing to go far for her, although she also has to admit that he really is charming and cool when he gave Wiz that confident, reassuring look, even though she becomes entranced just by seeing it. Then she never thought Wiz would reject his proposal after hearing the reason why she realizes that it's all true. She becomes even more amazed at Issei for thinking that far ahead. She just felt in love with him all over again. But when she was in her delusion once more, she saw her Issei-san cupping the face of Wiz and looks like he's about to kiss him. Oh god. So she can't take it anymore and goes outside from the door with a bam. Back to the present. Jeanne? Jeanne-san, Wiz said. Jeanne murmured in a low voice. It's not fair, Jeanne said. Issei and Wiz at the same time, huh? Then she finally lifted her face and she tears in her eyes while blushing a little. It's not fair that Issei-san only hugs Wiz like that, Jeanne says. She suddenly runs toward them and jumped into Issei's embrace as well. Wait, They clashed together as the other three of them dropped to the floor because of the impact from Jeanne. Both Jeanne and Liz weigh on the top of the Issei's body. Both of their big breasts are pressed against his face. And Issei almost losing control because of that. His dragon libido was threatening to be unleashed, and it took all of his efforts just to suppress it. I want to be hugged by Issei-san too. It's not fair that only Wiz-san gets it, Jeanne says. Wiz says. Jeanne started hugging Issei tighter, and Wiz is confused by all the sudden development. Issei took a deep breath to calm himself once more as he extends the free hand to rub Jeanne's head. You silly girl. What's going on inside your head? I'm not hugging her because I want to do something inappropriate to her, Issei says. I know, but it's still unfair because I want to be hugged with by Issei-san too after all this time. Yun looked up towards his face and gave Issei the deadliest puppy eyes look she has ever done. The utmost glistening crimson eyes coupled with her blushing face and her glossy plump-looking lips that awaits to be plucked by him. Finally, Issei can't take it anymore, and he stole her lips. He breaks his hands, and then he got squished by Wiz's body, and because of that, Wiz's body rolled over to the side. And he brought his now freed hand around Yun's body to hug her tighter against his body, and his other hand grabbed onto the back of her head. And he pulled her towards and then finally captured her lips with his own. Yun went wide-eyed because of all the sudden kiss he gave her, but she doesn't struggle at all. Her body at first is stiff, but after a few seconds, her face went deep crimson red. And her eyes blurred, drowned in happiness because she finally kissed the man she loves. They both got lost in the world while Wiz just observing them from the side with her mouth wide open. Her face would beat rape from what she's witnessing. After some times, Issei's hand went down to caress Yun's soft butt, then he gently grabbed it. Yun is still lost in the kissing session. She felt she's in heaven right now. The way he kisses her, yeah, whatever. Their kissing sound effect could be heard loud and clear by Wiz. Then finally their lips parted after they both felt like they almost ran out of breath. There's a bridge of saliva between... Okay, that's just disgusting. You get the point. They both just gave each other with lustful look in their eyes. Yun's glowing crimson red eyes clashed with Issei's glowing wine red eyes. Just when they both want to continue their makeout session, they realize there's another person in the room. So they look around at Wiz's place. She's sitting on her butt, and her eyes went wide-eyed with her mouth agape from the shock she received, her face blushing madly from her sheer embarrassment. She felt by seeing them suddenly just making out with each other. Then their gazes met each other and silence ensues. Issei is first one to break the silence. Yo, Issei says. Now, scene change. After the incident, both Wiz and Yun can be found holding their red faces both in their hands. They are too embarrassed to see each other and what just happened. Issei just calmly sitting on one of the chairs, but even his face has a faint blush on it because he can't believe he loses control like that and forgot there's also Wiz in the room. Issei faked a cough at both Yun and Wiz's body trembled a bit at that. Yun, I'm sorry for suddenly kissing you like that. And Wiz, I'm sorry you had to witness all that. That's a mistake on my part, so I apologize once more, Issei said. Then he bowed his head down a bit to express his apologies. Yun and Wiz, who's seeing that, got a little panicked as they tried to tell him it's not his fault after all that. Wait, Issei-san, it's also my fault for suddenly hugging you like that. So don't take the blame all for yourself. Yeah, she's right. It can't be helped that you got aroused like that when two girls jumped at you like that. And to be honest, I'm jealous at Yun, Wiz says. Wiz muttered the last part lowly. Only she can hear it. Only she thought because Issei can also hear it thanks to his heightened senses. Issei's reaction to that is a twitch on his face because he can't believe that this girl will get jealous at that. And he didn't think that she would fall for him at a short amount of time either. Yun, he can get it because she had spent some time together and get to know each other, but he just met Wiz today. He started wondering once more, what's wrong with this world? But unknown to him, he's just charming in the girl's eyes. Yun, I will take responsibilities if you want me to, and Wiz, I will do anything you ask me as long as it doesn't go against my principle, Issei says. Both Yun and Wiz's face went blank, then changed to red once more, because Yun is happy. He said he will take the responsibilities for her. Well, Wiz just started thinking about what she will ask him, and she found the answer right away. Then, yes, Issei says. Issei asked when she suddenly went, then I want you to also take responsibility for me just like Yun, Wiz said. She practically screamed the last part at her closed eyes while saying that. Issei and Yun went silent at that. Is it no good? Well, it's not surprising. Who would want an ugly old hag like me? And I'm just undead on top of that. She started getting nervous after not getting any response to her babbling no. Issei just sighed and proceeded to say, I told you I won't judge people for what they are, and you're not ugly, nor old in my eyes. You're a very beautiful woman, Wiz. Also, Yun, you both are beautiful girls, so don't worry about what other people said. In my eyes, you both are very beautiful women, Issei said. Both Wiz and Yun heart thumped loudly at his words. And to answer your question, are you sure you want to take me to take your responsibilities for you, Issei says. Wiz hardly says, I'm sure. And Yun also follows up with it, me too, at Issei's question. I see, but I have to inform both of you, there's more women waiting for me to answer their feelings, and I won't abandon them for anything in this world, even for you. So I ask you once more, are you sure you want me to take responsibilities for you even after knowing there will be other girls involved? Wiz and Yun look at each other in the eye, and they answer at the same time. We're sure. You guys really are silly, you know that. There's a better man than me out there, you know. No, there isn't, they both answered at the same time. They both suddenly screamed at him, and Issei got a little taken aback by that. Then they follow up with, we're glad that you admit that you have another woman waiting for you, and if you don't abandon them and just wait for us, we will not be disappointed, because if you abandon them just for us, then someday you will also abandon us for other girls. Wiz says, and it's normal for a great man such as yourself to have multiple partners, Issei-san, and that also means I will have more friends, Yun says. Issei just sat there silently. Issei becomes speechless as their answers, especially Yunyun's last words. Is that so? Then please take care of me for now, on, Yunyun. Wiz, Issei said. Take care of us too. They both hugged Issei once more as they're smiling while shedding tears of joy. Issei calmly hugged both of them back, and they savor the joyful feeling they felt in silence. Now, skip. Scene change. After the incident, Wiz also moves into Issei's mansion, and along the way, they attract everyone's attention because both Wiz and Yunyun are clinging to Issei's arms respectively. And everyone who saw them start gossiping with each other. Oi, isn't that the Thailand overlord? Mob 1 says. Yeah, looks like he got another mistress, Mob 2 said. How envious to have so shoes as mistresses, Mob 3 says. Shh, tone your voice down, you idiot. Do you want to be forced to take a vacation, Mob 4 said. Yeah, you idiot, be quiet. Did you forget what happened to those who pissed off the tyrant? Remember Dust? They said he went broke because he took too many vacations, Mob 5 said. That's the reaction from the man. While the girls, oh, how envious. To think both of them can be his mistresses, the girl 1 said. Indeed. What does he see in those two women anyway? I'm much prettier than they are, girl 2 says. Bitch, please. Have you even looked at your own reflection? Even Gorilla is prettier than you, girl 3 says. Damn. Ah, Issei-sama, please look over here, girl 4 says. Issei just ignored all of them while Yunyun and Wiz are too happy to notice. Issei tried to tell Wiz just to close her store, but she refuses because that's her hobby. So Issei doesn't say anything after. They support all of the way, and he told her if she has any financial problems, then she can just tell him because she's rich. Issei is the type of guy who will spoil his wife's rotten, so thankfully certain useless goddess doesn't become one of his wives later on. From all the quests he has done, his profits are very high. His profit is even higher than some noble's household at the capital, and his profit rough estimation is around 10 billion heiress, and that's not counting what if he doesn't split the rewards with Yunyun. Yunyun tried to give her share of profit, but he refuses by saying they are a party and they split should be 50-50. She can only relent after because he's so adamant on it. Out of his way to this mansion, they met the Kazuma party, and almost all of them gave him slackshot after seeing the two girls clinging to Issei's arm. Kazuma just had his respectful looks on his eyes and he gave it a thump at Issei. Aqua just doesn't care. She looks depressed, probably because she still has her debt. Darkness is drooling, thinking something perverted, such as what if also them treated like the abandoned mistress after having her body played by Issei. Meganum is the most shocked of all of them because she saw Yunyun clinging levelly at Issei's arm. Yunyun, Meganum says, and that is the end of chapter 22. So the other two chapters aren't really like super a part of the story. Basically, you've already heard them before. So I'm just going to go to chapter 25 because I've already read those many times before, and you basically already get the consensus of the plot line. So let's continue. Chapter 25. Yunyun? Meganum said. Meganum called out to Yunyun because she can't believe what she's seeing. Yunyun finally noticed Meganum, and she let go of Issei's arm subconsciously because she's feeling embarrassed from being seen by her rival. Meganum? Yunyun said, why were you clinging to Issei? And isn't that Wiz? Aqua finally noticed Wiz and she screamed, Ugh! It's you, you damned undead, Aqua said. Then she dashed towards Wiz, wanting to get a hold of her, but she got stopped in their track by Issei. Oi. What did you call her just now? Issei said. Issei grabbed onto Aqua's head, and as he asked while giving her a smile, but his eyes are not smiling at all. If anything, it started glowing brighter, and Aqua feels choked by his bloodlust. Issei doesn't put any effort on his hold, or Aqua's head might become exploding watermelon right now. Kazuma and Meganum, who's seeing that, are shivering fiercely while hugging each other. They both are thinking, rest in pieces, Aqua. Aqua is shivering and sweating furiously because she really is afraid right now. She tried to form the words, nothing came from her mouth. She's feeling suffocated because of the sheer pressure, while Darkness keeps fidgeting because of Issei's bloodlust Issei's emitting right now. She never felt this kind of feeling before. Then Wiz extends her hands over towards Issei's arm and extended. Issei stopped his pressure and looked towards Wiz, but there's no coldness in his eyes, like how he towards Aqua, only gentleness. It's okay, Issei-san. I don't mind being called by Aqua-sama, but I do mind, Issei says. Wiz got taken aback by his answer, then continued saying, I won't let anyone call you undead, nor damned undead. You are not some damned undead. You are you, Wiz the Ice Witch, so don't degrade yourself. Be proud of who you are, and not what you are. Issei let go of Aqua's head, and she slumped right into the ground while still shivering and taking deep breaths. She almost pissed herself but managed to hold it in. Issei extends his hand towards Wiz and pulls it into a hug while her other hand cupped her face. Didn't I told you before? You are beautiful. You are the woman I, Issei Hyodo, has come to love and choose as a lover, so be proud proud of yourself. None shall be allowed to insult you. For those dare to insult you, I shall make them pay dearly, okay? He finishes his word with a gentle, caring look, filled with love. Wiz's eyes are blurred and her face is deeply blushed from his words, and can only meekly nodded while his shy wife in front of her husband. After seeing nod, Issei smiled and kissed her forehead. Wiz, who got kissed on her forehead, became even more red-faced, and she buried her head on Issei's chest because she feels really embarrassed but also happy, and Issei chuckles a bit after seeing like that. Jeanne, who saw their interaction, only felt a little bit jealous because she's happy knowing that Issei treasures her woman dearly. She has this happy smile on her face, also blushing a little. Megan and Darkness, who saw this, also went red-faced because they also got affected by Issei's word and their mouths are wide open. So cool. I also want someone to whisper those kinds of words of love to me. Wait, if Wiz is Issei's lover, then that means Jeanne also... Then she looked towards Jeanne's direction and saw her animated look as she knew that Jeanne is also Issei's lover. Damn it, to think that loner Jeanne can have a boyfriend before me. So irritating, ugh. Then she looked towards Cosmo and couldn't help feeling disappointed because they are too far apart. One is strong, cool, charming, and handsome-looking guy, while the others are weak, lame, and average-looking guy without any capabilities. Why is life so unfair? She started to ruffle her hair because she's sheer irritation she felt. What's on Darkness's mind? Oh, wow, to think that I would witness a lover interaction firsthand. I can't say that I'm feeling a little bit jealous from seeing that, but I want to feel that bloodlust once more. I never felt that good before. I'm also afraid of getting killed. Oh, the dilemma. Is this the new play? It must be, Darkness says. She started drooling and taking deep breaths like some pervert. Cosmo just feels odd by the words and action of Issei, and he started taking mental notes in case he will get a girlfriend on his own, so he can retell Issei's words to impress his girlfriend, if he ever finds one, of course. Aqua is still feeling out of it, because she came into contact with Issei's bloodlust at point-blank range. You useless goddess there. Aqua's voice is kind of squeaked because she got surprised by Issei suddenly calling her. Apologize to Wiz now. He gave her a deadly glare. Aqua doesn't waste any more words, just apologize towards Wiz, while doing a perfect dogezo while caring about her dignity as a goddess. I'm really sorry, Aqua said. Wiz finally pulled her head out of Issei's chest and hurriedly says, It's fine, I forgive you, Aqua-sama. Then, finally let go, even though Wiz is still kind of meek, but he won't try to change her personality. After a while, then, why are you guys here, Issei said. Issei finally asked them. They all finally remember why they were here in the first place except Darkness, because she's not in debt. Please help us, they all say at the same time, simultaneously, and as they bow their head towards Issei, who's seeing just inhales once more because he knew why they were asking help. They're dead. Wiz is confused why they suddenly did this, while Jeanne can basically tell them why they did this. Tell me what you've been doing all this time, Issei says. Then they hesitate whether to tell him the truth or not, but after seeing his glowing eyes, they finally spill the beans. Meganum keeps buying mana potions for her own use. Aqua keeps buying booze. Cosmo is basically impossible to earn money on his own because of his class, and Darkness can't help much either because she basically can't attack the monsters and only become a tank. Then they keep getting chased by a debt collector, and finally they can't take it anymore. In summary, their outcome surpasses their income. Issei just felt like leaving them on their own luck, but Jeanne keeps looking at her puppy eyes for some reason, so Issei finally said, Fine, I will help you clear some of your requests to go pay for your debt, but I really want you to listen to me. Got it? Thank you very much, they all say at the same time. Jeanne gives Issei a smile, and Wiz is just amazed at their antics. Now, scene skip. When they take the quest at the guild, Luna said they can't take any more quests at the moment. They asked her why. Apparently there's some abnormality happening nearby because the monsters around the city are leaving the area, so they can't give out quests because of that. They only relent because not even a goblin is spotted nearby. They are stumped because they don't have any quests to do and they can't pay their debt. 3 of them become depressed, but seeing Issei and Jeanne just taking it easy, they couldn't help asking why they both are so relaxed. Then Issei told them because they have already paid their debt from day 1. Cosmo's party couldn't help but become dumbfounded hearing that him paid his debt along with Jeanne. It's 20 million in total. How come they have already paid their debt? Then they remembered they both are high-ranked adventurers, so they asked how much profit they made. Issei calmly told them around 10 billion Eris, not counting Jeanne. They became stupefied hearing his profit. Even Darkness, whose noble household, also taken aback because his profit is even higher than the noble household out there. Even Wiz is surprised after hearing her boyfriend's profit, but she's happy that the man she loves is very capable. Cosma asked if Issei's actually from royalty somewhere, and others couldn't also help doubting him for this, except for Jeanne because she knows how he gets all that money. So after a bit of explanation, they finally find out the truth. All of them become surprised Issei is actually the Tyrant Overlord, which is famous around the city, especially among the adventurers. Even Cosmo's best friend Dust keeps telling him not to mess with the Tyrant, or he will take a lot of vacations just like him. and they are glad because they never really crossed the line at Issei, or they might be forced to take a vacation like the others. Well, Aqua, almost a permanent vacation, if not for Wiz's forgiveness, and first time in her life, Aqua truly felt thankful towards someone else. Wiz also a bit surprised, but she doesn't really care what others call her boyfriend because she knows his true personality well. He's not some brute who will attack people for no reason he's portrayed as. He's her perfect boyfriend who's gentle and caring. Jeanne knows nothing about the tyrant overlord because she never really separated from Issei, even if she did hear her straying away from her because they are afraid to earn the tyrant Eri. So she never heard anything about this title or the history behind it. Then Kazuma, Meganum, and Aqua begged Issei to hire them. Finally, after some begging, Issei agreed to let them work as his servants on his mansion, and when they saw his mansion, they become stupefied because of its size. Issei doesn't need to remind Kazuma not to mess with Jeanne or Wiz because he's not some idiot who will challenge death itself. Issei learned his spells from Wiz as well. He's able to learn ice magic and explosion. As for the rest of her skills, it's not useful for Issei. Her Drain Touch is basically the inferior version of his life and death skills, and he can basically absorb mana from his surrounding without needing to touch another person. Issei tweaked his newly earned skills a little bit, such as Explosion. He infused it with his Dragon Aura and evolved it into Dragon Explosion. He becomes quite surprised that he's able to evolve the skills that he had just by infusing it with his aura. He combined the ice magic with his life and death aura and created the Frost Nova spell. He tried to infuse it with Dragon Aura, and he's able to make Ice Dragon Breath skill with it. After that, he experimented some more to see if there's any other skills that can be involved. He infused Physical Enforcement with his aura, and he's evolved it. He can now cover his body with his Dragon Aura, and it's called Ultimate Haki, while his enemy detection skill evolved into Observation Haki. As for Emperor Haki, he can already do it ever since he can control his aura, like bloodlust pressure he emits towards others. And that is the end of Chapter 25. Chapter 26. Issei told everyone he's going to go outside for a while to test his new skills. He went to an area that's far from the city because he doesn't want to test his new skills near the city. After a while, he arrived on empty land. He tried Dragon Explosion. It's basically looks the same with Meganum's Explosion, but his version has Dragon made of fire and it crashed to the ground. The power is even bigger than Meganum's Explosion, about 3 times more powerful. Then he tried Frost Nova. He created an ice field around him, and everything near him is basically frozen. So it works just like Graphia and Seraphil's ice field, but with more intensity that the air around him is instantly frozen. As for his Ice Dragon Breath, it's just able to him to breathe ice from his mouth, just like his fire breath works. His Ultimate Haki covers his whole body with his Dragon Aura and making him it looks pitch black. He could tell he gained a secondary armor when he's covered his body with it. As for his Observation Haki, he just assumes it's going to be how like he gained a Sixth Sense. So he can basically see an incoming attack aimed at him from anywhere. He basically got no blind spots. Thankfully I didn't try any of my new skills near the city. There will be a commotion, Issei says. He looks towards the area where his attacks landed, and it's so devastating that anyone who sees it wonders if there were gods fighting here just now. Then he remembered he still hasn't tried to evolve his teleportation skill. He thought he might have tried to open a dimensional rift just like Semiramis, but when he tried to infuse his aura with it, it becomes... Issei's confused what that means, so he tried to use it. But he opened a rift black hole. Without given time to react, he instantly got sucked into it, and then he disappears. Inside the rift black hole. Huh? What was that? Where am I? This place looks like a dimensional rift, Issei says. Because Issei still doesn't comprehend the space magic, he can't create a safe dimensional rift passage as Semiramis does. So he unintentionally created a random rift black hole. This was a mistake on my part. I never thought it's gonna went haywire and created a rift black hole on its own. Now how do I get back to that world? Just when Issei's thinking how to get back, he heard something. Then he looks towards the sound and saw a creature. The creature form is unclear. It looks like just a lump of meat with a giant mouth and sharp teeth with lots of eyes attached to it, and a bunch of tentacles swaying around its arms, so it acts as its arms. The creature's eyes on Issei right now, and Issei, who felt that, feels threatened. He feels extreme danger from this creature. His instincts telling him to get out of here as fast as he can. Oh, another living being in here. How rare. Well, just some more food for me. That creature's voice is also mixed of that of a child, man, and woman. What are you? I didn't come here to disturb you, Issei said. Issei is sweating right now because he knows this creature is stronger than him. He can't beat it the way he is now, so he can only try to buy some time. The creature speaks once more. What am I? Well, they called me lots of things, but they usually call me the Crawling Chaos, and it doesn't matter why you came here. I just want to eat you. Issei finally knew what this thing was. It's a Nyarlathotep. Known to many as its Epen the Crawling Chaos, as an outer god in the Kalutha mythos. He never, in the Cthulhu mythos, he never thought he will meet this godly being here of all places. Talk about bad luck. But Issei snapped out of his thoughts when creature suddenly attacked him with his tentacles. He tried to evade, but the creature's movement is just too fast. One of the tentacles that hit him got him thrown back. Thankfully, he already covers his body with his adamant hockey, or he would be severely injured by now. He coughs up a bit of blood from the attack. It's a bit easier since he bleeds. For some reason, he feels excited even though he knows he won't win this battle. Issei got up and launched every magic attack he got at the creature. Dragon Explosion, Frost Nova, Saber of Light, Ice Dragon Breath, Issei says all at the same time. He tried everything, but it's useless against the Narothup. Sure, it got hurt here, but there it instantly regenerates from its wounds. Interesting, it's been a while since I got hurt. You interest me, now don't disappoint me, it says. Issei has this excited grin on his face even though he's sweating a bit. He's actually a battle maniac because the old him in his boob, so he got it suppressed. Then, the narrow lip and Issei resume their fight. Narothup and Issei exchanged blows after blow. Issei covered his whole body with adamant hockey because Chaos has pure destruction element on its attack. Way stronger than the Gremory clan's destruction element. Issei is now improving by seconds every time he got into contact with the Chaos elements. He's absorbing it bit by bit. Slowly but surely he started to comprehend the destruction element the Chaos has, but his body is at his limit. He's standing just as his pure will. He doesn't have time to change into his dragon form. He will have a better chance of fighting this thing. His Oogie doesn't do much because it doesn't affect the Chaos that much since from it's unclear. Chaos has never fixed appearance anyway. Sometimes it took the form of Cthulhu, sometimes just a plain old man. Just like Orpheus, but it's more destructive compared to Orpheus. No one knows what Chaos purposes are. All they know is time shows up when the world will be in chaos. Just like Issei improving bit by bit, time goes. The same happens with the Chaos. It absorbs every magic Issei cast at it, so all of Issei's magic attack barely scratch it now. It's been fun, but now it's time to end this. World Eater! Chaos casts its attack and spits out a black hole like a ball and absorbs into everything. Issei finally forced to use his Balance Breaker. This is not his old Balance Breaker when he possesses Drake's skill. It's newly created one which he created during the spars with Scathach. Scathach and Semiramis told him not to use this skill because it's too dangerous to use it without fully mastering it. Its backlash just might take his life. The minimum is critical energy, at worst it's instant death. Thankfully, when he uses this skill, Semiramis and Scathach are there to prevent the worst from happening. But he has to use it for now or he will die, no question. Balance Breaker! After he used the skill, he feels his blood boiling. His aura went wild at full throttle. His appearance changed. His dark brown hair changed into pitch black. His ears elongated with just like an elf. His eyes turned golden with a slit like a dragon's eye. They're claw-like gloves and both of his hands colored with black. Now, his whole outline covered with a black and red aura. His dragon wings spread majestically and his wings are colored red and black combination. Same goes for his dragon's tail. He's basically the personification of a humanoid dragon right now. Even Chaos felt a bit threatened of his new form. His new form kind of looks like Hela from Issei 5, but with a dragon tail and wings, also longer hair. Issei looked up towards the incoming attack from Chaos, and he encountered it with his own skill. True Dragon King Hellfire Shot! He covered his arms with the Hellfire and punched repeatedly towards the incoming attack. Every time he lets out a punch, it created a barrage of dragon-shaped fire infused with his dragon aura. And he successfully destroyed Chaos's attack and also a part of its body. Chaos, for the first time, felt its life feels in danger. If he doesn't evade quick enough, then he might just die. And that exhilarates it a lot because it never found anyone who could make it feel this way. It always looks for beings that are stronger than it, but it could never find one. It feels bothered that no one can prove to be a challenge to it. And finally, it found someone who can threaten his life. Good, good, do that attack once more, Chaos says. It's so happy that finally, its voice is not mixed like it used to. Now it sounds like a happy girl voice. Issei wishes he could use it once more, but he's at his limit. So even that isn't enough to kill you, huh? I guess this is it for me. I'm sorry, Drake, and everyone, Issei says. Then he reverts back to his previous, and he loses his consciousness. Chaos, who saw this, feels disappointed. What's wrong? You can't use it anymore? After all this time, I finally someone who could beat me. I guess you haven't finished growing yet. How fun. I guess this is your blessing, true Dragon King, huh? I will give you my mark. So at our next meeting, let us kill each other once more, true Dragon King, the Chaos says. Then Chaos gives Issei its mark inside his body. The mark will let Narothup know where he is, and it also gives Issei the destruction element it has to make him easily master it. Chaos then opened a rift to pass through. "Let's meet again soon, true Dragon King," Chaos said. Then it disappears as well. Now we're back with Issei. Issei free-falling once more. He fell on the island located in the middle of the ocean. After a while, somebody finally arrived at his location. It's the two girls that seem to be twins. The first ones have a motionless face and short hair, while the other one has longer hair and has more emotion on her face. They're both wearing the same clothes as well. It's like Greensleeve's kimono, white outline. They both are wearing the same ribbon on top of their hair as well. They both have white stockings and sandals, Japanese styled. He's indeed badly injured. Let's bring him to our house, Kinyo and Kinyo. Then they brought Issei's body to their house. After they get Issei's clothes off him and clean his body, they finally see his handsome face and perfect body. They both blushed after seeing him. "Oh, he's so handsome, don't you think so, Kinyo?" Yeah, he's got a nice body as well. You feel it as well, don't you, Kyo? He's a dragon just like us," Kyo says. But he's not fully fledged dragon. If I have to say, he's about half dragon, half human," Kyo said. "Indeed, but I wonder how he fell from the sky and who injured him in the first place," Kinyo said. "Guess we'll ask him after he wakes up," Kyo said. They continued to take care of Issei after that. It took Issei a week for him to wake up, and both Kyo and Kinyo know if it's a human in this place, then he/she would be dead long ago from his injuries. Even for a dragon's kin, it's still a miracle for him to survive that, but his perseverance allows him to stay alive. Until now, and they are impressed with him. Issei finally woke up. He slowly opens his eyes. Then he started to look around. He found out he's inside a wooden house. "Where am I?" Issei says. When he's looking around, Kyo comes and saw that he's finally awake. "Kinyo, he's awake!" And she testily calls her twin sister. After that, they both arrived at Issei's side. "How are you feeling?" Kyo says. "You need anything?" Kyo replies. Issei is confused for the sudden development. "Who are you two, and where am I?" "I'm Kyo." "I'm Kinyo. We are both twin sisters, and we are dragons just like you. As for where we are right now, we are at Freshfish Island. We are also the ones who saved you." "Dragon, huh?" Issei said. Issei is hurting badly, and his memories are jumbled up. All he can remember is that his name Issei is Hyodo. As for the rest of his memories, he can't seem to recall them. "Are you okay?" Kyo said. Kyo hastily put up his body to prevent from overexerting himself. "Don't push yourself. Take it easy. It's no wonder you're still hurting after the injuries you went through," Kyo said. Issei finally lays down once more because his body is indeed hurting badly now, especially his head. "There, just lay down for now. We will bring you some food soon. After all, it's been a week since the last time we found you," Kyo said. Issei is even more surprised after hearing that he's passed out for one whole week. Then he just nodded towards both of them. Then I thank you for taking care of me." Then they both smiled at him, thanking them. Kyo returned with a full smile of her own. "Don't mind, after all, it's only natural to help anyone in need," Kyo said. While Kinyo just gave a small smile because she's not that expressive in the first place. Then they brought food. At first, Issei just wants to get up and eat on his own, but they won't let him. Instead, they feed it to him personally. Issei feels embarrassed that he got fed by a girl, but he can't do anything about it. After some time passed, Issei finally walked around on his own, but he still can't recall his memory. He told them that he seems to have lost his memory, and all I can do is remember his name. They both don't see lies from his words, so they accept it, that Issei learned of the history of this world. The world is commonly called the World of Eve. Freshfish Island is a location of the World of Eve, located far in the southwest. While technically a province of the Kingdom in Eden, the island is isolated to the extreme home only to a small village, Freshfish Village, populated almost entirely by senior citizens. How the situation came to be is unknown. Boats heading towards the island infrequent at best. And the only sight worth seeing for the tourists is a ruined Mother of Eve on the island's southern side. Both Kyo and Kinyo stays here because they love the quietness of the place. The twins are very similar in terms of personality, though Kyo is outspoken and Kinyo is quiet. Their age are more than centuries old. Since they are both dragons, they can live longer than humans, obviously. Like full-blooded dragons, Kyo and Kinyo can teleport from place to place and functionally immortal. As twins, they share a unique subset of teleportation powers that allows them to swap places at will. They can transform from their human forms to dragon forms, but their capabilities in these forms are unknown. As witches of the Round Table, the twins are presumably powerful beyond the average mortal, but their power is constrained by Arthur's treaty with QD. An ability they have been allowed to demonstrate is the ability to constrain a deceased soul to a mortal plane. The twins are also experienced pioneers and druggists, with incredibly strong knowledge of herbal lore, pharmacy, and concealment. They are also among the world's best cooks, and particularly fond of combining two fields to create duds blood, so irresistible victims will eat it willingly. But they didn't fully told Issei about themselves yet. After all, they just met. Although they are both attracted to him because the pureness of his aura as a dragon and his personality is kind-hearted just like their type. They never felt this kind of pure aura before any dragon male they've met. Even QD doesn't have this kind of aura. Both Kyo and Kinyo decided they will only marry the same guy they approve of, but they never found one after all this time. But finally, they can see the one. And after spending some time together, Issei became more assured that he's the one for them. And that is the end of chapter 26. And that is where we're going to stop for now. Now, I think it went a little longer this time. I'm not sure if it's like 45 minutes or 50. Who knows? It could have been an hour. I don't even know at this point. But I just wanted to thank you guys all for support. Remember to hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. I know you're still in the premiere, and that would be so much. What do you think about what if Issei was emotionless? Or what if Goku was in high school DxD? I'm going to do those regardless of what everybody thinks about it, but I just like to know everybody's thoughts just because, I don't know, it's fun to like, I'm going to be writing what if Issei was emotionless, by the way, because, I don't know, I'm getting bored of the same old storyline again and again and again, so I'm just going to like write it myself at this point, because I feel like I can actually write a story that doesn't intertwine with everybody else's, like I did with, my original one, which is Issei the God Killer, because I don't know, that felt more like I don't care much for the lovey-dovey stuff, but I will include a partner in Emotionless just because I'm assuming I think a lot of people like that, which I don't mind casual romance, but there was not going to be like a hell ton of it. I want lots of fights. That's like how I operate. Lots of fights and super power-ups and a bunch of rage moments and, you know, a bunch of emotional moments and happening because they're so intense. But yeah, obviously I'm still learning how to write stories like these people. But yeah, so thank you so much for the support, man. It's been a banger. We hit 47,000 subscribers on Impopowski. We're now 3K away from hitting 50 on that channel. And Fallen DxD has 1,800. We're 200 away from hitting 2,000 on that channel. I'll actually be posting anime reactions on there for now. I might react to High School DxD, the whole entire series on Fallen DxD, just for you guys' entertainment. But yeah. Subscribe to Impopowski. I'm also reacting to a bunch of Dragon Ball and other animes, etc. I'm going to do those eventually. But thank you so much for the support, man. Try to hit 400 to 500 likes. Thank you to all my balance breakers, limit breakers, and Ultra Instinct members. Seriously, thank you to all my balance breakers. I love doing the voices. I can't help it. But thank you so much. And without further ado, Spartanic Arts DxD out.